Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Team USA 40K podcast. We are here launching a new podcast for Team USA. I'm joined with Anthony. Welcome aboard. I'm John Lennon, and we're here to talk about Team USA. This is episode 1. This is the pilot. This is getting it going. This is letting people make fun of us for having the most creative name ever as we get ready to, do a year with Team USA.
A year or, half a year at this point, right? You get half
year.
our season.
That's true. Well, we're starting halfway through the season, so we get to do a quick hey, what was the first half of the season like? And then we get to tell everyone, and then whoa, what's the second half of the season? That's going to probably take more than one episode.
That's fair. Yeah, they get to see really. I mean, honestly, if we're being super fair, we've only played maybe a third of the games that we'll play for the total year at this point, because 2/3 of them will happen between June and August.
You honestly, yeah. June, July, August is it's more than half of my TTS time.
That for sure. We love an addition change year, folks.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's do the basic stuff, right? It's episode 1. This is someone's gonna go back and watch this, not knowing who you and I are.
Sure.
You want to do the intros?
Absolutely. Do you want to go first, Mr. Captain?
I would love to. So, my name's John. I'm John Lennon. I am the captain of Team USA for Warhammer 40,000 in the Year of Our Emperor 2026. And I'm here to, lead Team USA 40K throughout a year. And this is a year that we kind of see our season as being usually starts in September, ends in August, because August is when the WTC is held. That's the World Team Championships, which is the most competitive Warhammer 40,000 tournament that I have personally ever attended. And I've been to a lot of them, but it's a team event where over 40 countries are represented, battling it out with 8 strong players to try to get the very elusive gold. Team USA is a competitive country. We're in the tier 1 of the ranking system that the WTC has created, something we'll probably explain later. But I'm here and I'm captain of the team for my second year. I was captain last year. We were able to finish third place, so I was very happy to make podium in my first year as captain, but not my first year as a starter because I've started for Team USA 4 times in the past. But we also attend other events throughout the year. If you didn't know me through Team USA, you would be most likely to know me through my association with the Art of War 40K, where I am a content creator about Warhammer 40,000, where I'm a coach, I'm a streamer, I'm a professional 40K player, right? That I
all
suppose
day
that
long, baby.
all day long, baby. That's that is. I would say it's 24/7, 40 hours a week, but it is way more than 40 hours a week. I've been playing Warhammer for at this point, hold your breath, folks, over 18 years.
Damn.
I know. I'm only 30.
That's crazy.
I'm not even over 18 years, man. I got my 4th edition rulebook over there in the living room, just kind of like in between some romance novels, me and my wife's bookshelf. Little 4th edition rulebooks tucked in there, ignoring the fact that I'm we're getting ready to start 11th edition. Don't really want to think about how many editions that means I've been here for.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm Team USA's captain this year. I'm a longtime starter, and I've been around the competitive scene for quite a number of years. Anthony?
Awesome. So I am Team USA's vice captain. I'm the second in charge, which means that I get to do all the fun admin tasks. Now with a new and improved, powerful support staff. I have been playing less long than John, though the years are catching me rapidly. This is my 6th year of competitive 40K, which seems absolutely insane to me. Because I remember starting, like it was literally yesterday. It feels like it was not that long ago. But yes, this is also my 4th year starting for the if I start this year, this will be my 5th year. John and I have both we got onto the team in the same year. My relationship with 40K is a little bit less full-time in some ways than John's. I also do some content creation and stuff with Art of War, but I also am a co-founder and part owner of StatCheck, everybody's favorite, what's my ELO internet points website, as well as where you can get the most up to date stuff on the meta and how all the win rates and event wins and that sort of stuff is going. So I contribute there. I'm on that podcast as well as an occasional guest for some Art of War content. um, yeah, we're kicking this off. We're excited to be here to go through, our new and improved process, our expanded season, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we decided to start a podcast for Team USA, and this is kind of designed to be, as everything is designed to be a couple things. So this is trying to give people a little bit of a glimpse behind the curtain, a little bit of Team USA unfiltered. Team USA and its role in the American community has long been that it's a little bit of a mysterious unknown. I know you've only been, in the community for 6 years, and you've been with Team USA for 4 of those years. And so,
5.
yeah, 5 now, but you've started 4, you've been here for 5.
Yep.
So this is actually kind of interesting, is that you've never been aware of a Team USA that you weren't starting on, right? Am I correct?
Cor there
Like
was
like you
very technically meant to be 1 team, but COVID shut it down, but literally the first WTC that was possible to go to while I was playing the game, I wasn't there as a starter.
Yeah, like, I don't think there's ever been an event that Team USA has attended where you haven't been on the team and been.
Just the 1 home nations.
Yeah, and you were aware of us because, you were on the team, just not at that event.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, so you've never seen, like, Team USA from the outside. I we've
Mostly
mentioned
interacted it with
we've
it that
mentioned
way.
the 18 years thing. I've been on the team for 5 years, which means that for 13 years, Team USA was a mostly unknowable entity. Uh,
Okay.
I didn't I didn't beat a member of Team USA until, like, 2019 was the first time that I, like, beat someone who had ever been on Team USA, which is a
Wow. That's
yeah,
crazy. I didn't
which
even know that. I'm learning this right now. That is not manufactured, folks.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's because it's so hard to find them, because at the time Team USA was, like, literally 8 people.
Right, that's fair. Yeah, and it was not
Uh,
there was not a lot of turnover year over year, right? That was kind of a thing
yeah.
Sean put in.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of turnover. There was literally 8 people. They lived in the Northeast. I also, was conveniently not making as much money, and therefore not exactly traveling to a bunch of tournaments. So it's not like I, I was on a 50, loss streak. It's just like
Just
it was
weren't
just like
seeing them.
it was an unknown. It was like they're back pre-COVID. There wasn't a ton of content creation about it. There wasn't a ton of anything. So if you weren't on Team USA, you couldn't really know what Team USA was. And that's what I kind of want to fix. I want not only people outside the USA, but mostly the American Warhammer community to at least be able to understand what Team USA is and what's going on, and have an avenue to interact with it. And honestly, it's also to kind of display and show off the members of Team USA as people. This is a competitive Warhammer 40,000 content because we are Warhammer 40,000 players who, like to be relatively competitive. But this isn't going to be the same, type of tactical content or statistical analysis that you would find on Art of War or Stat Check. This is about the players. This is about the members of the team. This is about what it means to be on the team. We'll probably end up telling you some lists at some point, but not every episode is going to be, and here's exactly how you play Ultramarines, because that's easy. Anyone can do
Yeah, so we've seen at all these events, ultras are truly the most broken of the armies. Please ignore the crabs and the satans.
that. Yeah, come on. Crabs came out. Catan aren't even broken anymore.
That's true. Satan barely good because 4 armies now hard counter them because of 1 data sheet. Yay!
Woohoo! Yeah, so this is trying to be a bit of a behind the scenes, a little bit of an unfiltered view of what you can, of what Team USA is, and what it means to those of us who are on it, and what we're doing as we get ready, so that if you're vaguely interested in Team USA, you have something to look at in between BCP showing off our results at the end of an event.
Yep. Yeah, this will give you a bit more of a, uh it removes some of that unknowableness that John is saying. We're looking to shed some of our eldritch entity mystique that we have going and move more into the public light.
Yeah, with a country the size of the United States, and with a community the size of what, the USA community is, I think that we have a harder time than some other WTC countries with interacting with the community, because you know, if I were to compare us to Team France is an extremely competitive nation. They have won the last two WTCs. I can't throw any shade because every time I do, they end up beating us and winning gold. Um, but
Yeah.
but the 8 members of Team France don't live that far apart from each other by this, by the scale of Team USA. Whereas, we can't have someone from every state on Team USA because that would be 50 people, and we don't have 50 people, starting for Team USA. That's just not really how the math works.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
the distance between you and I alone is for certain larger than the distance between any 2 members of Team France, and we are, by the standards of the team, fairly close together.
yeah, I mean, you and I we've got to be what? We're over 1,000 miles apart. You're in like
It might be more than
south.
2, dude.
Nah, it's not more than two. You're in southern New York,
New
right?
Lindsay. Let's look.
I'm in Orlando. You're like just north of Newark. Orlando to Newark is over 1,000. It'd
It is
be
1,100 miles,
no, yeah. All
which
right, we're
is
11 miles 100 apart.
yeah, 1,800 kilometers for those of you in that region.
Yeah, so basically we're two Frances away from each other. And are you like there's I don't know. We'll see how the starting roster shakes out this year. There might not be another starter on Team USA who lives within two Frances of me.
Uh, I mean,
There
almost
might not be.
certainly not, right?
Yeah, we'll kind of see where everything goes.
Yep.
Um,
And even
and
just looking at the extended roster, right? Like, it seems unlikely.
yeah, I have to check. I don't actually know if there's a single person on the extended roster who lives within 1,000 miles of me. It's great. It's great. So I practice on the computer now. Um,
Yay, we
but
love
it means that
TTS.
you can have like local communities in the United States that are completely and utterly separated from Team USA. And that means that they are not even remotely in touch with what Team USA is doing, and they're not even remotely represented by Team USA. And that's a little bit of a bummer. Because I'd have to ask France, but I imagine that in England or France, if you go to the local GT, there's like a good chance that someone on Team England or France is like at that event, or like could be at that event. Like one person on Team England probably at most probably at every super major in England, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, the every super major in England's a bit tough because they have one every other week.
Oh, yeah, fair.
But there's so many of them. Or rather, it's so much easier for them to get to that even with that, it's somewhat common that you'll play someone, at least in their expanded roster, right? Because Team England did something similar to us where they've bulked out their roster a bunch, right?
Mhm.
There are good odds you will see some of them there.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you went to 3 GTs a year, the odds of you not seeing one person on Team England very
Oh,
low.
it's so low.
Yeah. But in the United States, I think it'd be more likely than not,
Right.
just due to the scale of things. So yeah, so that's something that I don't like, and I can't really make the USA smaller. So we're doing what we can. If you are listening to this, and if you are an American, we also are doing this podcast to raise a little bit of support for Team USA. Traveling to Europe is expensive. It's easy for people who live in France and England to get to Europe. Easier than it is for us.
Just a bit.
Uh, and so we're also launching a Patreon along with this to allow people to support, Team USA and the podcast. Because frankly, the podcast doesn't need that much support. Anthony and I already do this or already do adjacent things to this. We already have the know-how. And so we're doing this, and the money's not going to go directly to us, but we're creating a Patreon where you can show your support. If you want to help us, all of it, all the money from the Patreon is going to go directly to the US Wargaming Fund, and which is a charity that is there to help Team USA get to events as well as support local, American communities. So it's all to help Team USA travel, help us with travel costs, and help us with the trip, and help us, get ready to go to Europe because it's such a big undertaking.
Yep. The Wargaming Fed also does a fair amount of work, like, throughout the, like, wider wargaming community. They've sponsored travel to events. They've done a couple of other things. I know I was talking to Josh about some stuff for, my fiance runs, like, a board gaming club or, like, a wargaming club at her school. So, yeah, they do a fair amount of things other than just send this pile of nerds to Europe.
There is more than that. Yeah. So let's actually talk about where Team USA is at. We've mentioned that Team USA used to be this unknowable thing. What you called it, Eldritch.
Yeah, it's an Eldritch. It's like, it's
Yeah.
Cthulhu-esque.
Yeah. I mean, like that sounds like a joke, but like genuinely, young John, who was good enough to go like 4-1 at a local GT, would see a member of Team USA once a year when I traveled to ATC. And if I actually got to play against a member of Team USA, I would probably lose a really respectably close game that I was never actually going to win.
Yep. I
Yep.
mean, back in the day, you just didn't I mean, the context in which the game is played now is insanely different from back then, right? Like your average like 3-2, 2-3 Andy from the modern era teleported back in time with the skill sets that they have, even just now, right? A little bit of cascading, just knowing where to deploy and deploy well and write lists well. Like what is that 4-1 in the old days, John? Like
Easy. Yeah, easy. The level's different. But yeah, but let's talk about like what we've kind of done with Team USA. Because Team USA, all of the WTC teams kind of hit the COVID transition and took like 2.5 or 3 years off. And so there's been a lot of changes since then. And you know have been there every year that has been held since the pandemic. And so Team USA has switched from captaincy being a seat that is held until the captain, stands up, and into being an elected position. We've taken Team USA from being a team of literally 8 people to a team that is, what, like five, 6 times as many that now.
Oh yeah, I mean the team is quite large now. I mean, if I just glance at the Discord real quick, we have 60 people in it or something like that.
Yeah, it sounds about right. When I first made it onto Team USA, I'll tell you how this happened. I was at the Lone Star Open, a frontline gaming event in Dallas, and and Sean, captain of Team USA, asked if we could get dinner before the end of the event. And then I played him in the finals and I won. Really great timing, although he had asked me to get dinner before then. But I think it really helped my case because, we just had dinner. He's like, "Hey, do you want to be on Team USA?" I'm like, "Yes, I would like that." And so he added me to a Facebook chat that had 6 people in it.
Yep.
And that was it. And then he added 2 more people, and that was our team of 8. That's it. That's that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
Who was on the team? Sean picked. Who was captain? Sean. Why was Sean the captain? Because Sean picked.
Well, Sean was the captain because Andrew told him he was, that
Yeah.
was all it was back then.
Yeah, captain was handed off, and and so we've changed Team USA over the past 5 years into a little bit, trying to be a little more democratic, suitable for Team USA. We try to
Just
get
a
in touch with our
smidge.
historical roots on that one. And so now we have Team USA as a much larger club with like a process. We have a little bit of a vote on who's going to represent the team. We have a much more clear year-long competition where people are on the team, and then we select from the team members who's going to start for an event. But we have more people on the team than just who's starting at WTC. We play events besides WTC, or the old ETC if you're a real old head.
Oh
And
man, the
there's
ancient ones, dude.
the ancient
Disturb the
ones.
titans, bro.
Look, I really want to get like some history episodes going where we just get. I just want to have Andrew tell me about what happened for Team USA in 2014. That's
Yeah,
what I
sure.
I
Fair.
just want to pick one year and be like, Andrew, I need you to go find me some old links from tourneykeeper.net
Yep.
and like tell me everything.
Hope that they don't 404 when he loads them up.
uh, but yeah, we have a whole thing now. So Team USA is now, captain is elected every year in September. We still base our year around WTC. It's our largest event of the year, but it's no longer the only thing we care about. But I'm not going to pretend that the largest event and the oldest, most prestigious event isn't the one we care about most. But we do care about all of them.
I mean, look,
And
we feel it real deep in our souls with whatever placing we get. I am I have not shed a tear in quite some time. And if we win, I am going to cry like a small child.
that's okay. I cry when we lose too. So
Yep,
I'll be
that look, all of
I'll be
them,
with
they
you either
all
way.
they all hit different ways.
Yes, indeed. So where Team USA is now is that we have elections for captain. We have a number of roles within the team, where from year to year we have the returning starters, which is everyone who started last year. We have an academy which is 16 players who did not start last year. And then we have coaches and then we have advisors. And our returning starters and our academy are the people who are competing to play for Team USA at international events this year.
Yep.
And so now instead of just 8 people and that's it, and the 8 people you have no clue on how they're chosen. Instead, we have roughly 24 people or up to 24 people. A couple people always drop. Team USA is not for the faint-hearted and not for people without some time to commit. We're actively trying at Team USA, amongst many other things, to be the best Warhammer team possible and to try to be best in the world at anything, as a wise friend of mine has commented several times, takes a lot of time. Takes
Yeah.
a lot of time to try to be the best.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's a, a bit of an all-encompassing pursuit, right? I, in my youth, I was told that you know, greatness comes from obsession, right? And if you're not the most obsessed, then someone else will be, and you will eventually, even with a fairly significant head start, get past. And fuck that. So obsessed it is, as our as our Lord Father Fulgrim teaches. There is no finer pursuit than perfection. So we are ever striving towards that end. It is definitely a process. We've taken a lot of steps through the years, particularly between last year and this year, to focus on the human elements of the team and not burn out our entire roster as quickly as we may have had done in years past. So I think we're going into this year with a much healthier place than we had in years past, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to make this a multi-year process, right? Like that's like a large part of the appeal is that we have this academy of 16 players. People are allowed and often do stay in the academy for multiple years. We pull from that pool of 24 people. We what we do now. This is actually our first year doing it. Is we're doing 2 cuts instead of one. Previously, we would say, yeah, we've got roughly 24 people, and now there's 8, and so we cut 16 people at once. We've changed that to cutting to 12 to what we call the extended roster. That's actually where Team USA is at right now. Is we took our 24-ish, we cut it down to 12, and we're going to cut that 12 down to 8 in pretty shortly, actually. Probably by the time you're here in episode 2,
We will have a selected 8 man.
we'll have a selected 8-person roster. And the way that we do this now is through votes of, it's like a jury of your peers, right? It's
Essentially.
a vote where other members of the team are determining who they think is eligible to move on. You're never allowed to vote for yourself, but it's never just one person making the determination in a vacuum, where you're sometimes left wondering, well, why wasn't I chosen? Which for if you've been aware of Team USA for a while, my experience with Team USA was that I wanted to be on it, and there was no way for me to do it other than waiting for just waiting to be asked with no idea whether or not I was in consideration, if I was like being talked about, or if they knew my name or even knew that I wanted to be on the team, which has come a long way. I got to tell you, man, 2019, I really thought I was one of the best 8 players in the US, and
Just didn't have a
there
way to
was
prove it.
there was I look the way to prove it was to go to events and like try to beat people, but that didn't like there was no measuring of like, oh, are they noticing?
Right. Yeah,
Like,
how
are
would I
they?
know?
Yeah, like I was like, hey, I went to the Bay Area Open and I was top 8. Okay, well, there's already a Team USA picked for this year, but like maybe that'll help for next year. Ooh, I went
Right.
to the SoCal Open. I was undefeated. I came second place. Like I'm going to all these events. Like, oh, I went to the Nova Open and like made top 4. Oh, I went to this. I went to that. I went to LVO and I finished
Yeah,
fourth place. Like,
surely somewhere in here is a qualifying spot.
yeah, like that the 2019 to 2020 ITC season. I went to SoCal, Nova, LVO, Bay Area Open, um, I like the Dallas Open. I won like 3 or 4 majors, and I was top 8 of every super major I went to, and I had no idea.
That's
no
so
idea.
wild.
I had no idea if anything, like, if there's anything I could do, and, like, I even, like, I played Sean at, like, for the first time at an event, and that was how I knew that he knew my name, was that we played a game of Warhammer.
I mean, look, he knew your
Shocker,
name.
that one game of Warhammer did not get me asked to be on Team USA. That didn't happen for over 2 years later.
Yep, that takes a little while, dude.
Takes a little while. And so we try to make this much more of a process where if you're in the running, you know it. And if you are on the team, you understand what is asked of you and what is expected. And it's never going to be a perfect thing, right? It's unfortunately the United States is blessed and cursed with an abundance of good players, and narrowing that number down to 8 is a real unfortunate task because there's just more than 8 players on the level, right? There's just more than 8 players that are good enough to do it.
Yeah, I mean, every year we have like a comfortable, I genuinely any of us from the 12 could start, and I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep, and there's people that aren't even in the room who were like who I would say are good enough to do it.
Yeah,
But, but it has to be 8. And, for whatever event that is, if it's Pyro or Home Nations or whatever. So we've made some changes here to try to make it, more open to the people who are on Team USA. You can apply for Team USA. We hold applications for the team every, roughly October, November, where people can apply. We have a whole process. We'll talk about that more once we get there, and like, what should you do? And, how do I apply? And et cetera, et cetera. And now we make sure that we email everyone back so that if they don't make the team, I tell them that they didn't make the team instead of it just being like I don't even know if they know I'm here.
yeah. I mean,
We're
there's also
like,
the advisor role. There's way more ways to get involved now, right?
mhm, yeah, there is. So that's kind of how we've tried to make Team USA a lot more open. And, we'll probably be going deeper into different parts of this, kind of throughout the lifespan of the show, right? When we get to application season, we'll probably talk a lot about like, hey, here's what we look for in applicants, and here's what you need to qualify to apply, and here's where you can find the link. Because right now, I can't really tell you where to find the link because we're not accepting applications until, you know,
Until it's
next
time.
October. But we do it every year now instead of it just being an unknowable thing where, I like to date Andrew a little bit with this. I think Andrew might have been captain of Team USA when I was a senior in high school.
That is almost certainly true.
Yeah, which for the record was a while ago.
Yeah, it's a little while ago.
It was a while ago. It was like,
Ganyo's our old sage, dude. He's the
yeah,
team's Gandalf. He
he
holds
was
the info.
definitely on the team. But like I was aware of Team USA when I was in high school. That was over 12 years ago. Like I was
Yep.
aware of it. I was like, boy, I'd like to be on Team USA one day.
Yeah, one
But
day.
but again, literally no idea of how to work towards that other than be better at Warhammer, I guess.
Yeah, other
Uh,
than hopefully I win a lot and it pans out and they put me on the team and I get to feel good about that for a little while.
yeah, it does feel pretty good actually.
Yep.
So yeah, so let's kind of like talk about like where we are in the year now, right?
Yeah, I mean, do you wanna go over the change to the kind of the format and function of the year? Because before it was essentially 12 months for 4 rounds and then agony if those rounds didn't go well. But we have changed, we've grown.
We have, and what that means is for the past couple of years, we've had a little bit too much, I think, of a mindset of it's first place or it's nothing because we in Team USA are all Americans, and if you're a European listening to this, you probably know, what do you think of when you think of Americans? Probably not our lack of confidence, right?
Yeah.
That's not really what the American people are known for. It's not our lack of confidence. And so certainly on Team USA, we walk into WTC every year thinking we have a real chance to win. And sometimes that bleeds over into we should win. That's not a very healthy thing to think when you're going to the event. I think year one, we maybe had a little bit of a we deserve to win.
Uh,
Also, not a
Certainly
super
not me,
healthy.
but I was young and scared.
You were young and scared. Look, man, I thought we were gonna win year one. Which honestly, kind of ridiculous how close we came considering how poorly we prepared.
I mean,
But
relative
whatever.
to now, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like, well, we didn't do anything back then. We like played a
Yeah,
couple games. So I was
we
like,
were
ah, let's
hanging
give it up.
out, dude. Barely
I, I
trying.
I showed up with 4 reps on my list at the first WTC.
Yeah, dude, I showed up with a list someone else wrote. That's how.
Oh, same.
Yep. Yeah. slightly different in the affect, but yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And that's not a good place to be going into WTC. One, because it's incorrect. We have not won during my tenure with the team. Team USA won the ETC back in 2018, which
Yeah.
is coming up on 8 years ago. Which means that the last five, because there were two that were not held due to the pandemic, the last five we have distinctly not won, which someone else deserved to win each of those years. So I can't really talk too much shit about it, but it shapes your perspective a little bit, where we're not trying to come into this year as it's first place or it doesn't matter. We are going to win because we're the best. No, because that's not really true. There's too many good teams to ever confidently say that we're the best. Even if we eventually pull off the golden finish one of these years, there's probably going to be a couple dice rolls involved because there is for everyone. And
Yeah,
so
WTC is tough that way, right? It's not
WTC is tough that way.
it's less about like the having the perfect year. It's more about like just consistency over time and eventually you land in first.
That's the goal. And so what we're looking at is making this year more than just how do we do at WTC, which is 7 rounds, 3 rounds in pod, 4 rounds out of pod. That's kind of where we talk about building our year around 4 rounds, is building our year around the 4 rounds out of pod that are against other, top end nations that are trying to win. Where so far we have not gone 4-0 in those rounds, which if we did, we would have won, but we haven't, so we didn't. And instead, it's, we're going to Pyre and Home Nations. And the goal of going to Pyre and Home Nations is not just about WTC, because WTC isn't the only thing that matters. It's also about the experience. It's about, hey, making sure that all 8 players enjoy themselves, making sure that more than 8 players are going to get to experience being on Team USA, making sure that it's an actual
Yep.
fun experience, and making sure that we'll still be proud of the job we've done if we don't win first place. It takes a horrible toll on on one's mental health to spend multiple years building for one thing a year and then not hit it, and to then view the year as a failure. That's the part that you can't do. You can't.
It's too bad. You
I
can't.
Not good. You can't view it as, oh man, I'm going to spend the next 10 months getting ready for WTC because now the WTC prep process is incredibly long. And now we lost to France. All right, well, last 10 months are wasted. I'm going to take a month off and then we're going to try for another 10 months.
Yep.
And we, oh man, lost to France again. Crazy.
Yep.
That
The
just
first time
can't
we
be
lost to
the.
Poland and France. The second time was just France.
That is true. Look, losing to both wasn't fun.
Round
um,
4 is our curse, dude. We'll get
oh,
out
man,
from under it one year, but the last two.
yeah, the last couple have been hard. But it's about not putting all of that weight and pressure on yourself, right? You know, as someone who has flirted with victory more times than average
Yeah.
without grasping it, you can't make first place the only thing that matters, or you're going to lose yourself in the process.
100%. I mean, there's a reason I stopped playing singles is that like essentially I had a bunch of events in a row where I like rolled the dice and did not hit the win path that I, wanted to get like a full event run because no matter how much we love to be like, nah, dude, I'm just God's gift. We just win the super major if I just play perfectly, it's fine. There is an element of luck to them every single time. Um and there is, to a lesser extent, it seems, but it's still not non-existent in teams.
Yeah, there still is, but it's lesser, and
Yeah.
so I can work with lesser.
Yep.
Um, I still like to chase singles a little bit, but certainly not as much as I used to. I only travel for 1 or 2 singles events a year at this stage. Mostly, I do things in the state of Florida or South Georgia, and then I'll travel the World's singles, the GW hosted one, or I'll maybe go to like one other big singles event a year, and I call that just like a good year and call it a day. But yeah, so we made our changes this year to the team structure. We've also tried to make changes to the team mindset, which is going to bleed over into a lot of small details like how we pick the team and having it be more of the team making the selections. So it's less one person has to make these difficult choices. Um, and trying to celebrate more everyone being a member of the team instead of a, well, you're not in the starting eight, so doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
We don't want that to be the emphasis because at the end of the day, I just have to look around the room and say there is just more than 8 people here who have genuinely worked hard enough and deserve to start for Team USA. And so we have more than 8 people a year start for Team USA.
yep,
Between home nations and Pyra, I believe so. Those are the two events that we've attended so far with Team USA. I think we've had 13 people start at for Team USA this year.
that sounds right. Yeah, it's
Yep.
been a lot. Like I mean, because we've made this this wider sweeping change of
Mhm.
going to these 3 events, treating them all seriously, treating them all equally, or not, to the best of our ability, treating them equally, right? Not every event is going to be WTC, God bless, because the prep process would have been gross.
Yeah.
Um, the treating them all equally means that you do get to start for more events. I mean, by the end, there will be, obviously there'll be some crossover, right? Like I went to Pyra and Home Nations, so did Brian Sipe. I imagine a bulk of our finalized starting roster will have gone to one or the other. Um, so there'll be some crossover, but we should have like, 15, 16, something, maybe a little more people that were able to say that they started for Team USA in the 2026 season.
Yep. Yeah, and it's still important, to those people who don't start, right? We still have more than 15, 16 people, and more than ever, those people who are in the Team USA Discord, who are helping us practice, are just part of the process, are a much bigger contributor to team victory than what the process would have allowed in the past.
100%. It's a night and day difference, right? All the faction expertise, all of the knowledge, all of the, just, I mean, they have reps with the team because they've been playing with us all year, right?
Mhm. So what we did was after we got our academy and our returning starters from last year, we ended up at about 21 people because three of last year's starters decided to bow out of the process. Uh, that was Alex Batho, Andrew Gagno, and Nick Donavati. All are still with the team in different capacities. Spatho and Nick are both just taking a year off to have more PTO, spend time with their partners, et cetera, et cetera. Perhaps they'll return in the future. Andrew Gagno is still actively with the team because he's our head coach this year, where he gets to, complain about how there's not armor values anymore and how much
Yeah,
he
he
misses grav keyword and hull points or whatever.
really hates that there's no facings, dude. That's the thing
Well,
Andrew
I think
always
he just
complains
misses that
about.
he can't scatter blast weapons indirectly. And I think
Ah,
that's what really gets him.
Andrew does
Um,
complain that indirect is not strong enough every time I see him.
that's basically his personality. But we've taken those 21 and we took a roster to Pyra this year. Pyra was an event that was held in Poland. We flew into Warsaw. We had, 8 players there. Two more join us for some coaching help, and we got to play against a bunch of the national teams. And it's really fun to go to this event. This was my first time going to Pyra because it's an incredibly chill experience. Top level Warhammer sounds like it's going to be the sweatiest, most stressful thing ever. But something that I really appreciate and that has certainly kept me invested is that the national teams, the top level competition, is much chiller than top end competition would be at most other competitive ventures.
I would say basically all. Like I've been competitive across a good handful of things at this point.
Hmm.
Um, and I have gotten screamed at considerably fewer times in 40K than in my other competitive pursuits.
Yeah, and objectively, this would have to be the thing that you are the most competitive at. I don't
Yeah,
know about
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I've
right.
not been world class at anything else, so yes.
Same. And so having this community be what it is incredible, and it makes these smaller events really fun because you get to bring 10 Americans to Poland for the Pyre event. There's 8 teams there. 2 of them are Polish. 6 of them are national teams. So it's 7 national teams, and then like a second Poland squad, so that Poland can develop more of their players instead of fewer.
Yep.
And
They are running the event after all. I guess it's fair.
yeah, I can't really talk smack about that. And then we get to play against Team Germany, Team Poland, Team France with players of ours who haven't started a WTC before. And then we get to play against a France team and a German team that also has some players who haven't started at a WTC before. And so these are all players that are in contention, but maybe haven't been there yet. Some of it's newer players, people who are newer to their respective teams, but it's a really fun vibe because you're actually friends with the other team. This is not like wrestling where everyone just believes that like what Hulk Hogan and the Undertaker like hate each other. I don't
Yes.
actually know enough about wrestling to make this a good analogy. Do they
We
hate each
can
other?
pretend that that's accurate.
All right,
I
dope.
don't watch wrestling either, so we're
Got
pretty
it.
hopeless
Well,
here.
you believe that the people who are fighting hate each other, right? You
Right.
believe that they are mortal enemies, and that's not really the case here. Like, we're rivals, but we're actually quite good friends with members of quite a few, of the national teams, right? I have good friends on team Poland, Germany, France, England, despite those being teams that are actively trying to thwart us and our year-long ambitions.
Yeah, I mean, I've spent, in a lot of ways, outside of like exactly you on Team USA, I've probably done more team tournaments with a very specific pair of members from Team Poland than basically anyone else.
Mhm.
Um, you get to cheat a little bit because we play on club teams together and on Team USA together. But like outside of that very specific circumstance, I guess Brian Sipe falls in the same category.
Sure, yeah.
But outside of you two, like I've definitely played more team events with Typhus and Pumbaa, I'm pretty sure, than everyone else on Team USA.
Yeah, I mean, it's kinda funny, but it makes sense.
Yep.
Um, and so, it's really fun to go to these events. So we took our squad to Pyra this year. Luckily, we were able to claim victory on this one. We've been trying to get a really good meld this year of, you know, trying really hard without only trying hard, where I think we've got a really good group of players this year that are extremely competitive, are very good at Warhammer, but also, you know, we can enjoy the ride, right? I think, like, to me, that's like
I
what
mean,
I
that's such a
value the most.
huge part of it, right? Is
Yeah.
us getting through the year and being like, okay, this event was fun and good. This event was fun and good. We're not like, super stressed every event. We go into every event as a like-minded team, at the same level of commitment and tryharding.
Mhm. Yeah, we that like you have to be able to enjoy the ride because like the destination's uncertain, right?
Yep.
Certainly we're going into each year thinking like, is this the year that we win first place? Possibly. Does that mean if we don't, we're going to get second or third? Possibly. Would it really be that far out of the margins for us to like go sixth, seventh, eighth? Honestly, no. WTC is pretty hard.
I mean,
Like,
even the year, not last year, obviously, where we got third, but the year before when we had two losses, if our tie breaks were less good, or the other team, like that was just a very bloody event. Most teams had a loss.
mhm.
But if it had not gone that way, it was very easy for us to get like eighth that year.
Yeah, 100%. It's absolutely in the cards. And the 4 years that you and I have been together for Team USA, we finished, I believe, in order. We finished fourth, second, fifth, third.
Yep.
I got that right? Yeah.
Which puts us at second overall in the historical rankings for the WTC. So we are outside of the people that won it back to back, France shakes fist,
France.
um, makes us the most consistent team
Mhm.
besides
Uh,
Poland.
yeah, I'll give Poland the nod on this one. They got a first and a second and a third in there.
The only reason we're the 2 seed is that the like earlier years of the WTC drop every time they revamp the historical rankings. So
Yeah.
Poland's getting scammed out of a second and first place because of that at this point, or just a second. But yeah.
Yeah. um, yeah, so we're we're looking at enjoying the ride. And so Pyro was a really good experience. It was my first time in Poland. I was really proud of how the team prepared and handled it. We had we have such a great roster this year that I wouldn't say that I was surprised, but I was also just really like excited to see everyone go there and perform. But at the end of the day, it was mostly about I was really excited to be on a team with these people and like have fun and go compete and have everyone keep their cool while competing.
Yeah, I mean, it was really good from that aspect, right? Like you know, coming a long way from our first year on the team where we did only the WTC together, and even that people came in at all different times, and we didn't really hang out a ton pre-event, and yada yada yada, right? to now where it's like we do multiple events a year as a unit. We're much more organized. We're much more cohesive. It's a much better feeling, I would say, top to bottom. And we've been exploring a new way of handling things, I think is how I would put it, with going into these events where we try and, split that difference between, yes, faction expertise and specialism is very powerful, but also sometimes Games Workshop is a modeling first company and they don't super carefully play test every single thing. And sometimes you got to make some last minute adjustments.
Yeah. I always like to overvalue faction specialism because I consider myself a faction specialist in a couple of different places. And so I always want that to be the most important thing because that's something that I see as a strength. And so, big personal bias, I want the thing that I'm good at to be the most important thing.
Sure.
Very, very natural defensible, not always correct. Um, and so that kind of brings us, I think you're kind of segueing us into home nations a little bit, perhaps.
Well, even at Pyra, right? Like I didn't play fucking World Leaders at Pyra, did I?
That's true. I forget you're a World Leaders player sometimes.
I know, dude. Me too.
Yeah, Anthony Vanilla, notorious Necron player.
Ugh, did I send you that thing that I sent Sam that I was talking to Sam about the other day where like some guy pinged me in the Necrons chat in Art of War and was like, "Oh, you play other armies?" And I was just heartbroken.
I would love to tell you that I set that person up to it, but like honestly, that might have just been genuine.
No, it was
Not
100% genuine. It was like I was like, "Are you fucking with me?" when he did it, and he was like, "No, man, I just, I'm new." I was like, "Oh, no."
Yeah, think of that every time you joke that I don't play Tyranids, okay?
Yeah, no, I look, that's fair, dude. It just that never happened to me.
That's how it feels.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
It is. It is tough out there. But yeah, it's I man, each event is different, right?
Yeah, I mean, like but we did a good job of it going into that event, right? Like, I think even for Pyra, right? Like, Folger was not necessarily like super primed on Custodes until we were like, let's try it because it seems to be doing really well. He picked it up on, he got a bunch of reps before the event, but that was mostly through Folger's willingness to grind rather than having lots of time on it, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, like
me
he
with
started playing it like
Necrons.
in early January, and the event was middle February.
Yeah, same thing. Like me with Necrons, Brian with Sisters. I think most
Yep.
of the rest of the roster. Oh no, Brino, Brian Dougherty on CSM.
Yep.
That was like a
Changed attachments like the Wednesday before we flew.
yeah, and even playing CSM in general was like a 2 month thing, right? Like that's like like in 40K terms, that's quite a bit of prep time with how often we practice in the team. But still, it's not like the thing he's known for, right? Um,
Another notorious World Leader player claimed by the meta.
Yeah, our lack of ability to shoot gun taking us away from being able to play the thing we love. But yeah, it's I think it's interesting that like even from like the first event out of the gate, and obviously, Pyro went pretty well. We had this really interesting blend of like both the flavor of the month stuff piloted by people that may not necessarily be the most comfortable with it, but our new process allowing those people the time, effort, reps to get comfortable enough with it for us to still do really well.
Yeah, I'm like waiting to see when the next time is that I'm called into action to just like switch factions onto something I wildly do not play.
Yeah.
It happened the first 2 years, right?
Yep.
Where
Yeah, you
first
were
time I
our
went to
golden
WTC, I
man.
played Custodes, and I think my next event with Custodes after that was the next summer when Team USA called me back to Custodes, an army I distinctly was not playing in between those 2 points.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's been. I mean, I've been all over the show. I mean, I've gotten to play my my two like specialties in big air quotes at this point. CSM and World Leaders once each. Oh no, I got to play World Leaders twice. But like, that first year was NIDS. The CSM build that I ended up taking was very not me, the double Forge Fiend 8 Oblit build.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
forgot
was,
about that. You had
yeah,
8 obliterators?
I had 2 units of 4, brother. That was the old days.
Do they still come in units of 4?
No, they do not. I have more obliterators than you can legally field now.
Oh, good. That's fantastic.
Yeah, they come in units of 2, and then when the muties came out and they were like units of 3, I was like, maybe they'll set the blitz back and I won't have completely redundant models, and I was wrong. So
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's okay. I get it. It was I mean, at the time, it was crazy, right? For a blitz with, like, the strats from Index CSM,
Oh yeah,
bananas.
God.
But, gone are those days, and now we are here. But yeah, I guess it's yeah, you have more time on not your factions than I do. You got me by 1 year.
Yeah, I'll take by one. Um, yeah, it's been fun since then because in the 4 years that I've played, I did Custodes, Dark Angels, and Emperor Shelton.
Mhm.
Zero Ultramarine, zero Tyranids. You know.
I mean, yeah, zero Tyranids is kinda the way that it be, man. We got the papal supremacy on now,
I
so
know, I know. I'm aware that it's trending that way for the foreseeable future. Hopefully.
Sam's the youngest member on the team, bro. He's got longevity as well. You're in trouble, man.
Oh no, that's a bummer right there.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I know.
But,
Um,
but yeah, that was like Pyro. We took. I think that was like the beginning of us starting this like kind of thing where we like blend our faction expertise, people that have been playing the things for a long time, with the practical reality of 40k, which is that the meta, especially on 3-month balance windows with campaign book releases, is very in flux, and you need to be agile and willing to adjust to that. And if you're not, you can get burned. But if you are, you can get kind of what happened to Pyro, right?
mhm. Yeah, yeah. It was pretty good though. Power was good. Having the blend was nice. We kind of had to do it again for Home Nations,
Sure
right?
did.
Because that's the beginning of our carcinization.
Yes, the
Yeah,
move towards the crab.
all meta evolves towards crab. We got to do big defiler hours. I'm sad that the late switches we made and took us off of more crabs. But we ended
Yes.
up having a number of players do the same thing where it was like, hey, this isn't always what you play, but we're either going to switch the build that you have been playing for a while to something new, or we're going to switch you to a new faction relatively late notice to adapt to the meta. Because for Home Nations, this one will be a little bit more meta relevant for those of you who have been like, man, they haven't told me a single thing about actual Warhammer yet. Well, you know what? That's our bad. So here's one thing about Warhammer, folks. Defilers, as of recording in May of 2026, are too good. And so when we went to the team event, we said, boy, we should take more of them. We were practicing. We're like, hey, that's weird. No one here is good into defilers, and the defilers aren't bad into anything.
What if we just
Uh,
keep taking them?
yeah, I'll just take more crabs. Sure enough, we did have more crabs than every opponent that we faced. And as an end result, that did go well for us.
Yep. Yeah, I
We
mean, like the only way we would have played someone with more crabs than us is if we played Scotland, who we work with.
they shared our opinion on crabs. Yeah, like, so for that, we had Trent switch from the Death Guard he had been playing earlier in the month to Death Guard with Mortarion and 3 crabs, so that we were abusing crabs to the maximum possible. We had Zach switch off of the whatever army was broken at the time to Thousand Suns, which it turns out was the army that was also broken at the time, so that he could run 3 crabs. And Zach had did he have 10 days notice, or was it less?
Zach, it was less than that. Zach played one practice game. He technically played a practice game into Warpforge Cabal, like Sandstorm.
Oh yeah, sure.
Um, he was like, he was going to test like an Ultras build, and Brian threw together like this 3 crab monstrosity in Warpforged. And he played into that and was like, I'm just dying in Overwatch, and I'm dying in their turn, and then I'm out of things, dude. Ultras do not have enough men to sustain these losses. Um, so uh we made kind of like a gut call then, seeing the results of the and ANZTC, the like Australia New Zealand team event, um, where the top scorer was a Crabman. New South Wales NSW had won the event, which was like a crazy upset. It would be like if we had a state versus state event in 40k, and pick basically any state in this space beat Florida and then won the event, you'd be like, whoa, what was their comp? And that was what we did. And that was where we dug out the Thousand Suns list. That was really similar to what we ended up running in the end for Home Nations.
Yeah, it's a little bit of healthy international inspiration for that one. You continue to play Necrons,
I did,
which
which was really sad.
at that point, that actually is you playing what you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
We've
I mean, that was actually like honestly benefit of hindsight, just a mistake. I should not have done that. Um, but we didn't have a lot of time to really figure it out to know that
look,
PC
we're
was the go.
we're finding the ranges here, and we're determining that it's okay to have the faction specialist not play their faction thing, but only if they're doing it to play something that's really broken.
Yeah,
I think a
just
little
broken.
I think a little bit of broken isn't enough. I think you gotta be a really broken, and
Yeah,
then we're good.
yeah, I mean, like, it was, w the way I've kind of expressed this is that, like, Satan were, like, actually immortal when I played them at Pyro. Across most of my games, I don't think I ever lost more than 1 Satan. And I certainly didn't lose, like, more than 1 Satan, and also one of what I affectionately refer to as the twins, which is Zeros and, Necrosaur. My first game at Home Nations against Northern Ireland was against Renegade Raiders, which is one of the, like, lower not skill, lower damage builds of CSM Defilers. Like, you could get way crazier with it between vets and, pact bound and on and on and on, right? Um, and I lost Zeros and 2 Satan and almost lost and also Amintar that game. I finished the game with, like, the king and, like, some other, like, little bits and pieces, and that was it. And I was like, "Oh, I've made a grievous error. I am certainly no longer immortal. Oh god, what have I done?" And, we mostly pulled it together for the rest of the event, but off the rip, I was like, "Oh god, oh no."
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's okay. I think with more time in the pocket and us, like, spending a little bit more, time, effort, and energy on it, basically, I think we could have come into a place where, like, me playing EC would have made sense. Tragically, World Leaders crabs are not the same as everybody else's crabs, so
Yeah.
it would have never been World Leaders. But I do also play EC, so
Yeah, and then our last minute spiraling for that one was, Ruben decided that he wanted to play Pact Bound to help us with our problem of, "Wait, none of us can beat the crabs either,"
yes,
and
yep,
that then freed up Ultramarines, which pulled me off of EC crabs, uh, the day of List submission. That
uh,
was that
yep,
was fun.
yeah,
I really can't say that Space Marines counts as a last minute pivot because, it's I play a decent amount of Space Marines in my time. So I played at Pyra and also several other events this year. But it was kind of funny that I, like, submitted a list that I had never a version of Ultramarines I had never played and had not played a game of Ultramarines in 6 weeks. And
yep.
luckily, I played a ton of Ultramarines 7 weeks before. So it was okay.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it worked out, right? Like, I think we probably could have made a somewhat reasonable call to just be like, you know, the Necrons are no longer immortal. Let's just, like, ram jam an EC build and just, like, ship it with the crabs and just see what crab maxing looks like. But I think if that didn't work, we would have been pissed, and Necrons was safer, so it was fine.
Yep. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, if we had pivoted and been wrong, it would have been worse than sticking and being wrong.
Yeah, and it was, like, wrong, but it wasn't wrong in a way that was catastrophic, right? Outside of me getting, sick in the last round for that, like, 8, the rest were all, like, super reasonable scores, right? Got a 10 into Renegade, got a whatever, a 17 or something into Orcs, um, and then a 20 into Guard on a very favorable mission in a favorable turn order with a little bit of luck on my side, and then a 7 with basically the opposite of all of those being true. Um, and that's Necrons, baby.
Yeah. God, it's a blessed thing.
I mean, it's just got, it's a relatively safe army. It's the upper limit to how bad it can go. It just feels like garbage while it's going bad.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, but home missions went really well. We kind of tossed in our crab pivots. Uh, had a great time. This was in Northern Ireland for Home Nations. Home Nations actually is a really interesting thing where it pivots the host country every year.
Yep.
Similar to WTC, it's pivoted among the wait for it, the Home Nations, which is the four nations that make up the United Kingdom and also Belgium. But then Belgium gets a pass while WTC is being hosted in Belgium. So at the moment, since WTC is in Belgium, it's cycling between the other four countries in the UK, which is of course
It's 5
Scotland.
in the UK, right?
What? Oh, sorry, 5 because it's
Yeah,
Ireland
Ireland, Northern
and the
Ireland,
UK.
Wales.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Ireland's not in the UK. That's
Yeah, 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 exactly.
that was a whole thing.
Yep.
I'm told.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, so it's Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England. So this year was in Northern Ireland, which was fun. This was actually my first time spending any time in Northern Ireland. And so it's good though because I'd met some of the lads on the team at previous WCs. They're a very good group. I've met them at previous home nations, so I really enjoyed being able to go to Northern Ireland, go to Belfast, hang out, see everyone. We played some Warhammer. You know, there's some travel scams. There was some sitting in the London airport for entirely longer than I was planning to after I missed a flight. Not my fault, but you know,
Yeah, you got a little bit buried there.
I got a little I got some scams on both ends of this. I spent more than twice as long in the London airport as I was scheduled to spend when I when I
When you booked
booked
it.
my flights. But yeah, on
Yeah.
both ends, I was just like, and we're moving a flight back, and your flight's arriving late, so you're not going to get on the flight you were planning to, so you can wait another 5 hours until the next plane leaves. But in between, after the travel scams, it was fun. You know, get to the hotel, hang out with the team, hang out with the other teams. Again, you know, I cannot imagine the the night before the Super Bowl having the two teams like hang
Just
out with each other.
just
Even
vibe
like
it,
even a
just kick it.
yeah, even like a normal competition, like even a you know, maybe I'm like misreading. Maybe in golf, you know, okay, golf I could imagine it. If like
Yeah.
the night before a golf tournament, all of the golf players are like kind of at the same bar hanging out,
I
that
don't
I
know,
could
dude.
believe.
Maybe we got it wrong. Maybe they're just also psychopaths, you know what I mean?
Maybe. But it's fun to get there early and then catch up with the people who you're going to be playing against. And when the tournament's over, you know, some of Team USA was traveling to Dublin because that was the most convenient airport for them. Some of us stayed in Belfast for the night. And
Yep,
those of us that stayed went out to dinner, came back, and then met up with Team Belgium, who was in the hotel for the night, to drink and play Shaka Dice, and which is like Liar's Dice, and just like hang out and bullshit for you know with our friends for the rest of the night after the tournament.
yep.
And that's something that's not felt in most other competitive scenes that I've seen.
No, it's tough, man. I mean, like, again, the nature of 40K tends towards or trends towards us all being, at least fairly tight-knit friends, right?
Mhm.
And I think that most other things would struggle to have that be true for them, right?
Yeah, it's a rare thing, but yeah, I don't know. There's just something about 40K where even the ones that I do know, like you know, like we hang out with Team Belgium Sunday night. Several of those members of Team Belgium are people that I know. I've played in the past, I've talked to in the past, I've met in the past, but like more than half of them I didn't know,
Right.
honestly. More than half of them.
Well, even
And it
some of
doesn't matter.
their more experienced members, the people that have been on the team for a while that you might even have a chance at knowing weren't even there. So
Yeah, but that's okay. Those are just the vibes.
but that's what I'm saying. It's good that, like, you had actually no chance of knowing most of these guys, and it was still a good time.
It's still the easiest thing in the world to just like go hang out.
Right.
Right on.
So yeah, I mean that's the Team USA year thus far. We've kind of, we're trying to hit this slightly more interesting blend of like not being too stubborn and set in our ways with, regards to what we're all playing, but also trying to leverage our individual faction strength as much as we can.
Yeah,
And
you know,
so far so good. We are 2-0 up on the year for events. We have gotten first pretty commandingly at both Pyra and Home Nations. So far it has gone really well. And we are looking to roll that momentum forwards into the big one in August.
yeah, it's been fun making the changes this year, right? You know, it's trying to be a more open Team USA, more laid back Team USA, more transparent Team USA, more feedback, you know, from within the team and from more people than what it used to be in the past. You know, it's no longer aiming to be a dictatorship. I am probably the least powerful captain that Team USA has had because I sure do let other people make decisions.
Yep.
Actually, I rely on it because there is too much going on for it to just be John anymore.
Yep. I would agree. There are too many levers to pull.
So yeah. So the next thing for us here at Team USA is that spoiler alert, we're all waiting on 11th edition to come out. Since it's May and GW has announced that 11th edition Warhammer will be coming out nebulously in the month of June. And it is, I would say, about a 50-50 split on whether or not that's going to be June 1st or June 30th.
They
That
do they do love to
that
be like,
shit could go either way. But like it's never the middle.
no, yeah, they do love to be like June. The 30th is June.
Yeah. I'm gonna be an optimist on this one because 3 years ago when 10th launched, the content side of it, like the rules being live side of it, was early June. It was like the
That's
edition
fair.
wasn't for sale on a game store shelf until end of June, but you could download the core rules like 3 weeks before that. I don't know if you remember this, Anthony, but when we you know, three oh my god, it was like only 3 years ago when we were at the Kansas City Open, the GW Teams event that we did together at
Yep.
the very tail end of ninth edition. I'm pretty sure the core rules came out like a week after that event.
It was something like that, right? I mean, they did, like, that funny demo game with Nick and Andrew, and then,
Yeah. That was the
then
best.
they gave the rest of us the rules not too long after. I mean, I remember us being like, "Oh my god, they printed what?"
Yeah,
When we
there's
were
a lot of
trying to
that.
get ready, release dev wounds, baby, spilling dev wounds.
Let's go.
Yeah, it
Never to
was
be seen again, I hope.
definitely yeah, God, please don't do that again, Games Workshop. Mortal wounds, keep them contained.
Yep. Yeah. God, that was silly. So yeah, so hopefully that's soon. But other than waiting for 11th edition, what Team USA is doing to fill the gap is we are gonna narrow down our starting roster. We picked the date for this by talking to the 12 members of the extended roster, the 12 people who are still in contention to start at the WTC itself, and they wanted it earlier. They wanted to know it before the edition dropped, so that when the edition dropped, they weren't stressing about now let me try to earn my spot. It's instead, oh no, let's just try to learn the edition. Let's just all be working together, no competition. Let's decide. We'll do what's best for the team. And then when the edition drops, we're all in lockstep trying to do our best to, as a unit, conquer 11th edition and WTC. And so we're going to be narrowing that process down. We're going to be narrowing those 12 down to 8, and it'll be much more of a self selection because the entire 12 is going to vote on who's on the first half of the 8. The 12 players are just going to do a ranked choice vote of themselves, and that's going to determine 4 of the starting 8. And then we do want to have a little bit of like a comp decision in there of, like, hey, maybe we don't want 3 orc players. Maybe we only need 1 space marine player, blah, 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 blah. Hey, we have 7 melee players. Can we please pick someone who knows how to hold a gun? Um, please.
We
And
do really need that.
look, Team USA shockingly light on the gun holders.
Yeah, you'd
And
think that'd be our whole thing, but
I know,
no.
right? We'll work on that. But yeah, so we'll be narrowing it down to 8, and I'm really excited for that because we're gonna have a new starting 8. We're gonna have plenty of new starting members. Every year is someone's first time starting,
Yep.
and so every year has that little something special to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long journey of, trying to get things into a spot where, it feels like people have a real shot even as an like a person that's outside coming in. But I think we've successfully navigated that.
Hmm. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. We're at the part of the year where like everything that's left is really exciting for me.
Yes. Yeah, we're not there's no boring downtime basically at this point.
Well, other than what we're currently doing right now.
I mean, even this I'm just mostly viewing as a break, my brother, like, just a minute to breathe, you know?
Yeah, and that's the other thing we're trying to do different is, give everyone a little bit of that, like, hey, maybe the mental health part of this is important too. Maybe we should focus on that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd
as
be
it
crazy.
turns out.
Yup. So yeah, so that's where Team USA is at right now. That's catching us up. To, not necessarily a straight line of communication on that one, but we wander, we ramble a little bit. It's fun.
I mean, in future episodes, we can take the events more in depth and we can give people updates on how our prep is going. And there's so many different things that we can do. And we're not trying to be like, all right, the last 6 months have been this.
Hmm. Yeah, we'll do that in the future. I mean, we're gonna have some 11th edition events. A lot of members of the team are gonna play some 11th edition events as soon as the edition's out, and then we'll be getting ready for the big one. And this is fun. Every year, I always see a bunch of people get on podcast and talk about the list as they go live. It's like, oh yeah, and Team USA lists are terrible. Here you can see the clearly superior English lists. And
Yes.
finally,
Classic.
this is my chance to do that, which is good.
Get up there and be like, "You're bad," even if we don't believe it, and then we can
No, it
release it
doesn't matter.
after
Doesn't matter if we
WTC
believe it,
only if we're right.
of course. Please, I can record that before lists even go live. I don't care.
The
Yep.
Germans will have 6 perfectly tuned lists and 2 things we didn't even think to consider.
Yep. Yeah. There's always something.
The French took a melee pressure horde comp. What?
Not a no. They would. How? Oh man, how much do you think we could guess? Maybe we'll make it a game this time, right? See how
Yeah,
much we
yeah,
can
we
guess
should do
before a bingo card.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That'll be our first patron post is we'll create a WTC list release bingo card.
Easy. All right. Ready to close it out for today?
I am. Do you wanna do any form of plug related stuff before I hit end?
I think yeah, I think we should. I think we should plug the Team USA Patreon that we have set up. It's patreon.com/Team USA 40K. Try to make it pretty easy to find. There's probably a link posted somewhere. Since this is episode one, we'll kind of see how it's all put out. I don't know about if I should be pointing like down, sideways, left, right, whatever, because
There's
I'm not
nowhere to
pointing
point,
anywhere.
bro. You're not
There's
on a
no camera
camera.
on.
You're not
I
at
know.
work.
Maybe it's below. Maybe it's below. I don't know. There's a link somewhere. Wherever
Sure.
you're listening to this, there's probably a link to that Patreon. But that's just that's if you want to come support Team USA, we really appreciate it. Anything you can do helps. We'll be setting up some more Patreon bonuses as time goes on. Right now, the bonuses that it would make John really happy, and
Yes.
Anthony probably also.
Yeah, reasonably happy.
Yeah, reasonably
Prob
happy.
yeah, John gets more excited than I do just as like a general rule of thumb, but if you wanna make anyone happy, it's John.
Fair enough. I
It'll
like it.
make Pickles really happy. So write that down,
Ooh,
folks.
yeah,
That's my cat, and she deserves the world.
she does indeed. That's a good cat. All right. Well, we're planning to release these episodes every other week. So stay tuned. We're trying to put out 2 a month here just to kind of keep that pace rolling. And that means that if you like this, stay patient. There's another one coming out soon. We'll even talk about our starting roster on that one.
Woo!
Woohoo! Bye bye.